वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह. A very warm welcome to entire Sangat in today's talk. This evening, we are discussing on the topic sacrifice and sacrifice. त्याग अते त्यागी. It's very essential topic. Our day-to-day life is completely dependent on it. We are sacrificing a lot of things every day. The basic definition of sacrifice is it refers to the act of giving up something of value in order to achieve a greater good. So we need to leave something to go at different level. It's just like a stair. Body di tarah, if you need to reach to the another end, we need to leave the first end. So we can just be at one place at one time, and all other things we need to sacrifice. So it's very vital, so important, because we can choose one and we need to sacrifice a lot of other options. So sacrifice is when we are giving up on something, leaving something, we are renouncing something. That is basically meaning of sacrifice. So if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. So our entire life is completely depends on sacrifices. If we want to attain something, if we have some goals in our life, we need to sacrifice a lot of things. Maybe we need to learn time management. We may need to work hard. We may need to study hard. Or if we are not focused on those things and we are much more comfortable in our sleep, in our all other things, so then the things that we want, we may need to sacrifice that thing. Now, what we want would be different for everybody, maybe. Although everyone's final destination is same. Pai Parapat Manak Devariya Gobind Milan ki teri pariya. But yet, in our life, in our social life, in our political life, in our professional life, we may have different kind of goals. We need to work on it. So if you don't sacrifice for what you want, that could be anything. Then what you want becomes the sacrifice. This is one of the points. Types of sacrifice. Actually, there are many sacrifices. Depends on the situation, depends on the circumstances, depends on person to person. So types are many. We are just mentioning few here. So types of sacrifice, what kind of sacrifices does people do? One could be related to money. They sacrifice some part of their money, some sacrifice the huge part of their finance, or we may see people, those who sacrifice their entire money for something good or to attain or to be someone, like someone. Family. People do leave their family as well. They sacrifice, they go through the part when they leave their family to be a sannyasi, to the yogi. I feel like we need to leave the money and we need to leave the family if you want to be a sage. Something like that also happens. Sannyasi, brahmachari, yogi log bande hum. So they leave. We sacrifice our time for our loved ones. Or wherever we want to be. And time is called as the most essential part because we cannot get it again. Time is moving. And if we are giving our time to someone, that is also one kind of a sacrifice. And previously and still, even another kind of sacrifice is also related to life. To make God happy. In some sects or according to some people, they sacrifice the life of an animal, of other humans, and even sometimes they sacrifice their own life. They feel like we'll able to get heaven if we will die at some certain place, as Banaras was known for that. In Gurbani also is mentioned, Sir Kar Vat Tarai. People were killing in Banaras because there was a saying, if someone will die in Banaras, he will go to heaven. So people in their old age or even intentionally, purposely, they used to kill themselves to be at certain place. So also there are so many kinds of different kind of sacrifices in the family, in the relations, in our professional life, in our personal life, in our day-to-day life. We have to do a lot of things in our life. So there are many kinds of sacrifices that we are actually doing on daily basis. The one who sacrifice something, that person is known as a sacrificer. The one who sacrifice anything, that person could be individual, would be known as a sacrificer, could be group of people, could be a family, or could be community or the nation. Individual also we have seen a lot of martyred people, those who got martyred, individual ones, or the one they left a lot of things, sacrificed different things in their life. Could be a group of people, could be family, even for the good, as we have one of the example of Pai Mani Singh. Pai Mani Singh were 12 brothers. Out of 12, 11 brothers and 7 of his sons out of 10 children attained martyrdom. They sacrificed their life for righteousness against the cruelty while walking on the path of oneness. So they attained martyrdom, family, community. As even in Sikhism we see Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib. And even when others are attacked Delhi, India, then also Sikhs came forward and they tried to save the country as much as they could able to. And depends on nation. So sacrificers we can divide into many parts. There could be an individual or group or a family, community, or nation. So there could be different types of sacrificers as well. Why is sacrifice so vital to life? Actually, from our birth, sacrifices starts. Our parents, they sacrifice their time, their energy to take care of a child. They are also sacrificing maybe their job and a lot more things. Maybe they are not taking care of their health properly, but they are taking care of a child. So as a child, there are a lot of sacrifice were done from the parents' side. Even once we are adult, we are studying, we are looking for a job or something, every time we are sacrificing something. For example, in the morning, one may sacrifice their sleep to do something good for himself. Maybe want to go for a walk, want to do some exercise, want to study. Maybe they spend some time to meditation or doing some part, going to Gurdwara. Could be anything. So one sacrificed his sleep to do something else, and other sacrificed all other things to take care of his sleep. One don't want to come out from his comfort zone. One want to just rest. So he sacrificed the work, hard work. Another person may sacrifice the rest to do some hard work. So every time we are sacrificing one thing and we are choosing something. And in reality, we are choosing one thing and we are sacrificing so many things. Because I can be at one place. If I went to Gurdwara, then I'm not in the park, I'm not in the gym, I'm not studying, I'm not using my phone. I sacrifice all other things. If I'm using my phone, then definitely I have sacrificed all other things. So we need to be more conscious about it, what we are choosing and what we are sacrificing. Sometimes we are sacrificing Ram for the calm, or sometimes we are sacrificing calm to walk on the path of goodness. Till the old age. Every day, at every different stage of our life, we are choosing something, we are sacrificing something, and it is happening on the daily basis. That is one way it is called as a negotiation as well. Like what I would like to do. Art of negotiation. There are many books about it. So there are so many thoughts in our mind, but we need to choose one. All others we are going to sacrifice. So it is very essential. It plays a vital role in our life because every day we are sacrificing, we are doing something. Now, if we are choosing something, what are we choosing? Basically, there are two things on which we are working a lot. We are ready to sacrifice a lot of good things, a lot of values, just to take care of these two things. One is P for paisa and parivar, money and family. Boho parpanch kar partan lyaabe. Parpanch, by anything, good or bad, don't think about it. Sut dara pehe aan lutabe. Spend that money for the family. So two things are very important as a human. We need money. People are doing good or bad to get more and more money. And what they are doing, most of the time, they just want to take care of their family as well. Sutadara pehe aan lutabe. Even if we are earning money in an honest way, still father is working for 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, but he's sacrificing all of his money to take care of his family. A lady is also spending 8-10 hours in the house or at workplace, sacrificing her time, energy for the family. So most of us are choosing paisa and parivar. This is a strong battle in between it. What do we need more? Money or family? Sometimes we need more money to take care of the family. If we have enough, then we like to spend more time with the family. Most of the time, we are just thinking about these two things: money, finance, paisa, and parivar. Then, the greater the sacrifice. So what happens? In our life, we understand money is very important, family is very important, and we take care of a person who sacrifices something. We value the person who sacrifices something. So the greater the sacrifice, for us, sacrificer is also greater according to that. So we all are spending a lot of time to take care, to get more wealth and family, take care of family. If someone leaves it, someone becomes sannyasi and if he leave money, if he leave his family, people start worshipping that person actually. He says he's greatest. Why? Because we compare to our thinking, we compare to our level. For us, money is very important. We cannot leave. Even we cannot give $10 to someone unnecessary. Or $100, $1,000. We cannot. But if someone left all the money, we are spending a lot of time, we want to be with the family. If someone has left his family in the society, people call them sages and saints, and they get a lot of attention from the people. That is also becomes a disease, because if we are not giving proper value to someone, or if we want कि कोई चीज तरक्की करे, that is possible if we are giving attention to that thing. It will grow. If we are giving more respect to some certain persons, they will grow. तो ਇਸੇ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੋ ਦਿਸੈ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਖੜਾ ਤਿਸ ਨਿਉ ਨਿਉ ਲਾਗਿਓ ਪਾਏ ਜਿਉ. Guru ji says, if you see any Gursikh, go down to him. Respect him. Respect her. Why? Then only it will grow. If we don't respect Gursikhs, so it is also, we are going against the Gurbani. We are not following. Jo disya Gursikh khada. So people are coming, running behind money, and someone who leaves it, he becomes the greatest for many people. But in Gurbani, Maya, Tan, the one who leaves money, is known as he gets a lot of attention and respect in society. In Gurbani, Maya Dasi Bhagtan ki kar kamaat. This rule applies in religion as well. This rule applies in religion as well. The greater the sacrifice, the greater the sacrificer as well. This rule in social life as well. If you left something that is not so expensive in the world, you won't get much respect. But if you have sacrificed, the people would hardly even think about to sacrifice those things. Then you will get more attention. In Gurbani also, we'll read those Gurbani Pantis. In Gurbani also, if we sacrifice something great, then Guruji also gives us more attention or respect. In life, maybe we give more respect to those who leave money. But Guruji says, Maya Dasi. Maya, paisa is known as in Dasi. So by sacrificing money, Guruji is not getting impressed. Guruji is not giving us more attention. So, which means sacrificing money won't respect in religious way. Although it will respect in the society, in our day-to-day life, in the community, in the people, and it is very much needed. But we are now trying to go to the next level. Kabir, Maya taji to kya hoya? Jo मान तजया नहीं चाहे. Maya taji. If you are leaving money, it's okay. But then what happens? Man tajya nahi chahe. We don't sacrifice our ego. Okay, let's understand in this way. If I have 10 lakh rupees, I may say I have 10 lakh rupees in my account. I can be egoistic with it. But if someone donates it, then also it stays with that same person. Then he says, I left 10 lakh rupees. One person is claiming, I have 10 lakh in my account. Another is saying, I have donated 10 lakh. Now I am bigger than you. So problem is not with money. Problem is with that ego that we have attached. We need to leave that part. Kabir, Maya, Taji, the kya paya? Then what happened if you left? If you sacrifice some money? It's okay. Kabir ji, jo मान तजा nahi jaye, because your ego is still there, your I is still there. Maybe earlier I was weak, like I have 10 lakh in my account. Now I became more strong. I have donated 10 lakh. And in that way, it remains forever. If I have some money in my account, maybe it may get stolen, or I may lose somewhere, I may give it to somebody, or I may spend it. Today I may have, but day after tomorrow, in few days or a month, I don't have that much amount in my account. But the one we donate, it stays forever. This is another logic. Then we say, even after 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, I donated 10 lakh. I was listening somewhere, and one person was mentioning that the person, a saint, was there, and the speaker was saying, okay, the person that we have here, he has donated 2 lakh rupees till date. And he smiled and said, including today's donation is 2,20,000 now. So what would you say about it? Like, one person is making an announcement, he has donated 2 lakh till date. And the person who donated and he spoke, no, including today's 40,000, now it is 2,20,000. Oh, my apologies, speaker said. Yes, he has donated 2 lakh earlier, and today again we have received 20,000. So this person has donated total amount of 2,20,000. Okay. So it was just the same thing that Kabir ji is mentioning. Kabir, Maya taji ta kya paya, jo maan tajya na jaye. We need to sacrifice, but it is not only about money. It is about the attachment with that money, the ego with that money that we keep. तो पैसा नहीं छड़ना, पैसे दे नाल attachment छड़नी. We need to sacrifice, but we need to sacrifice that attachment. मान मुनि मुनिवर गले मान समय को खाए. Kabir ji very beautifully mentioned. It is not only for the normal people, it has happened to whom people has called as sages, saints, or even demigods. Like in Gurbani, there is a story comes about Indra. Indra was known as an Swargda Devta. Swargda Devta, Swarg, Devta of heaven. He also did something bad. Gautam Tapa. Tapa is called fire. Gautam is one of the Rishi. Gautam Tapa Ahilya Istri. Ahilya is the name of Gautam's wife. This big Indra Lubaya, although he was known as a king of heaven, Swargda Raja, but he also fell into the vikar, the vices. So these are not weak. Gautam Tapa Ahilya Istri Tisdek Indra Lubaya. He also came and met Ahilya. And he changed his look, and he looked like Gautam, and he met Ahilya. He did something bad. It's mentioned. So although those who were called as an king of heaven, or Manmuri, greatest saints or sages, they were also fall into this trap. So as we mentioned, the greatest the sacrifice, the greatest the sacrificer. So what is greatest? Jin mil mare panch surbir aso kaun balire. Now we need to understand. Guruji is also giving us more attention. If you can sacrifice something strong, money we can sacrifice just for our reputation, just to maintain our reputation, or we may look like that, but maybe we are not the same person from inside. So Guruji says, if you want to sacrifice something, then sacrifice which is very strong. The greatest sacrifice, the greatest you are. So now, what do we need to sacrifice? It won't work with money. Although we need for religious or for social, that is part of life. Guruji is never against. We do not need to run from the responsibilities. That also we need to make sure. Taking care of family, earning money, or although we are giving donations. That's one. All our responsibilities. Guru Nanak Sahib Ji went for the first Udasi. Again, he came back, met his family members, stayed with the family, spent time with wife, with the children. Guru Nanak Sahib had 2 children. Baba Shri Chand Ji, Baba Lakshmi Das. Guru Angad Sahib Ji also had. Guru Amar Das Ji also had 4 children. Guru Angad Sahib Ji also had. Guru Ramdas Ji also had 3 sons. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. We see down the list. So they did not leave the family, did not leave money. And even they don't want us to sacrifice all those things. If you want to sacrifice, you want to be a brave, then have some fight with the bravest ones, powerful. Who are the powerful? Jin mil mare panch surbir. Now Guruji is saying surbir to the panch vikara, because they are very great. As we just read, Man muni munivar gale, man sabai ko khai. Even those who are walking on the path of Almighty, they also fall into this trap. It's not an easy to sacrifice Panch Surbir. So if you want to be called as a greatest, you need to sacrifice greatest. So who are strong and greatest? Jin mil mare Panch Surbir. They are also Surbir. It's not an easy task. Our Panch Ham Ek Jana. Panch Surbir, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. If we can sacrifice that part, Aso Kaun Balire, Jin Panch Mar Bidar Budare, so Pura e Kalire, Kali Kaljuk. So the one who can kill, the one who can sacrifice all those 5, he becomes the king. Now, question may arise in our mind. Panch Surbir, marne ne, you need to kill, which means no lust, no calm, no krodh, no hankar, no lobh, no lobh. So if we kill calm, then how will we take care of responsibilities of our grasta? Once we start walking on the path, everything becomes under control. There is a limit. Under the line, under the limit. Calm becomes Veeras, while growth becomes Veeras. Calm is also needed for this life. That is also an energy. Low, Mangana, Manganika, Harjas Gurte Mangana. That is also low. So how to use them, how to keep them in the limit, and that is much needed. In the excess, it is pura. Ati hota ka khai, Gurbani. It should be under control. If it is too much, excess, then out of the limit, then it becomes so harmful. Sacrifice can be harmful. Like some people leave their family. It is harmful. Guru Nanak Sahib Ji went to Sikh, and Guru Nanak Sahib Ji told them, कौन जगत को पार उतार, तुसी इत्थे आके बैठ गए हो, जगत दा कौन ख्याल रखेगा? So never run from your responsibilities. It doesn't mean we need to, okay, I have sacrificed money, I have sacrificed love, I have sacrificed calm, now I don't have any kind of any social responsibilities or responsibilities to my relation, responsibilities to my family, it should be under control. We need to take care of the family. We need to take care of our all other responsibilities. So, Jinmil Mare Panchasubi, which means it's under control. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਹੜ ਆਏ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ so there is a bridge ਬੰਨ ਪਾਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਹੜ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੜ is harmful water is needed but too much water is harmful so all these things are powers but if they are winning on us if they are controlling us which means we are losing the battle so we need to sacrifice those vikar those vices as well, which is very much important. But what we are doing, we need to sacrifice those vikar, but Tyag Swami Anko Chitvat Mood Mugad Khal Kharte. We have the option to choose. We can sacrifice God, we can sacrifice Vaheguru, we can sacrifice values and virtues, and we can spend our time in the vices. Or we can sacrifice vices and earn more values. So if we are spending too much time or we are spending our energy, we are sacrificing values, we are sacrificing Vaheguru, then mood mugad khal kharte. Here to use a bit hard words as well. But we are just like we are stupid. Because the one who's giving us everything, we forgot him. And it is not a good deal. You need to maintain the balance. Kagar naab langehkat sagar pritha kathat hum tarte. It is just like if we are taking, we do not need Vaheguru, we do not need God. I can just live my entire life with all those things, with the family or with the finance, with the money. Then Guruji is telling us, teaching us, Gurbani teaches us, Kagar. Kagar means paper boat. Kagar na paper boat. Na means boat. Kagar means paper. So we cannot cross the ocean on the paper boat because it's not possible. We need wooden, we need a proper ship. On paper boat, we'll die. So this money, this family is there, but Sanjog which is, but it is not forever. So for that, we need to sacrifice our vices as well. What do we need to sacrifice? Tyage man ki matdi bisare duja pouch. Because we are using our brain a lot. We're supposed to. But here, as we goes to Gurdwara, we bow down, we keep our head next to Guruji, which means I don't have the knowledge, what should I do? Tyage man ki matdi. What are the thoughts in my mind? We need to leave that part. So what do we need to do? Gur ki mattu le ya nahi. So what do we need to sacrifice? That we need to learn from Guruji. Tyage man ki matdi. Visare duja pao, other. So keep love of Vaheguru, keep trust on Vaheguru, and leave all other things. We need to sacrifice. As anat tyago trang, leave the hope. Pagat bina bahut dubbe syane, leave your intelligence, leave your mind, which is needed, but on the path of Almighty, on the path of wisdom, it may become an anger. It becomes too much knowledgeable people, even they stuck on the way. They just started feeling we know a lot, we know everything. Maybe we know about him, but we don't know him. Him is also I'm using like just we can say majboori use karna pere. Can't use him for Guru, for Vaheguru. But basically we don't know him. We may know about him, but we don't know him. About is different. Knowing him is different. Knowing him is like becoming one with him. So how can we do it? We need to first understand whatever we know, whatever I know. I don't know everything. त्यागे मन की मतड़ी. So our mind, we keep this physically practice we are doing every day. We are going to Gurdwara, we go down, we keep our head next to Guruji. What we are doing actually, this is what we are doing in physical form. त्यागे मन की मतड़ी, विसारे दूजा पाओ जियो. We are leaving our head next to Guruji and saying Guru की मत तू ले याने. We are saying Guruji तोड़ी मत दो सानू. Although we are not taking it, it just becomes like sometimes we are just doing it for doing, but we don't understand what we are doing. So त्यागे मन की मतड़ी विसारे दूजा पाओ जियो. If we can त्याग, we can sacrifice our mind. Like, I don't know. This is the meaning of Sikh. I don't know, Guruji. Teach me, help me to understand. And even त्यागी कैसा होना चाहिए है? What is the actual real example of sacrificer that we can understand from Guru Tegh Bahadur as well. Guru Tegh Bahadur is known as a Tyagi Guru. Tyagi Bairagi Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur. So did Guruji leave family, money, finance, son? No. The attachment that we need to leave. ਧਨ नहीं ਛੱਡਣਾ, ਧਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਹ ਛੱਡਣਾ. ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡਣਾ, ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਹ ਛੱਡਣਾ. So what do we need to do? Gur ki mat le yaane. So in that path, Guruji will help, Gurbani will help. Bhagat bina, Bhagat, the meaning of Bhagat is Bhakti here, because it's Sihari with the top, so which indicates Bhakti. Bhagat bina bahut dubbe syane. So although you have a lot of intelligence, a lot of knowledge, but still if we don't take Guru's mat and if we start feeling like I'm more intelligent, it comes when we understand so many things and we start teaching Vaheguru, what is the right, what should Vaheguru do? So that knowledge becomes a barrier that we need to take care. But if the one who is ready to take Guru ki mat, then Guruji says, how tilke baliharne, je gur ki peri pae, the one who sacrificed themselves. What do we need to sacrifice? Actually, we need to sacrifice I. I'm sacrificing a lot of other things except I. मैं बचा लेना मैं, बाकी सब sacrifice हो जाएगा. But the real problem is I. I need to sacrifice I. Until unless I won't sacrifice, I cannot grow in the spiritual path. In social life, in political life, in relationships, everywhere different kind of sacrifices are needed. Everywhere. In the relationships also, you need to sacrifice sometimes your happiness, other person take care of your happiness, or sometimes you take care of your partner's happiness, parents take care of child's happiness, sometimes child also, he sacrificed their dream job for the happiness of their parents. So a lot of things are happening. But those are the things about this life. On the social life, different kind of responsibilities, different kinds of social life, different kind of sacrifices in the professional life, in the social life, in the relationships. But if we have a goal, if we want to attain, if we want to be the one with the Vaheguru, ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਕਬੂਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਈਏ, then what do we need to sacrifice? I need to sacrifice I. त्यागना त्यागन नेका. What is the greatest sacrifice? Is sacrificing our vikar, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, त्यागना. If we can tyag those things, if we can sacrifice our vikar, if we can sacrifice our ego, if I can sacrifice I, so the greatest the sacrifice, the greatest the sacrificer. So that is very much important. Guru Sahib Kripa Karan. We need to sacrifice, learn the art of sacrifice from our daily life, but don't stop it here. We need to, the final destination is sacrificing I. Guru nu mere to nahi kuch chahiਦਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਸਮਰਪਣ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ. This is the final stage of sacrifice. So Guru Sahib Kripa Karan, we all may able to learn the art of the sacrifice, and we all may grow. Guru Sahib Kirpa Karan, Asif Kabul ho sake. So now I would like to request to entire Sangat. So what are your thoughts? If you have, definitely I know you would be having a lot of things in your mind about more Gurbani Panktis, or any suggestions or any feedback or anything that you would like to add or share your experience. Please don't be shy. Looking forward to hear from you, and kindly contribute in your own words, kindly contribute your experience, Gurbani Panktis. So now I would like to request you all, don't be shy, please share your views about it. So thank you very much once again for joining, for giving your precious time. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji. Hanji Vaheguru Ji. Any Balbir Singh Ji, you are unmuted. Would you like to add something? Yeah. KS Palji, you unmuted yourself earlier. So would you like to share something?
Hanji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji. I think that was a very beautiful topic. When I first saw the title "Sacrifice and a Sacrificer," naturally, mere dimag de vich, the shabads that came were all about Joto Prem Khilan Ka Chao Sir Tartali Gali Mariao, and putting the head on the hand of the palm and those kind of sacrifices. Because I think a lot of time growing up, we have been hearing the Sakis about the great sacrifices of our Gurujis and all that. But today, living in the 21st century, we don't have, attacks from the Mughal forces, thank God for that, or other enemies who are attacking us physically. But I think today's lecture was a very good time for us to look within ourselves. And I remembered one beautiful shabad that says, Prathame Chodi Prai Ninda. The first thing I sacrificed was trying to slander and say bad things about others. Number two, Uttar Gai Sab Man Ki Chinda. And the moment I stopped talking bad about people, I realized actually it was good for me. My anxieties of the mind were dispelled, and I suddenly felt more peaceful. Lob, moho, sab kino dur. The moment I got rid of greed and worldly attachments and everything, like you have already mentioned some of the 5 evils in our life. And Guruji says, Param Basno Prabhapek Hajur. I decided that the moment I get rid of all this greed and attachment and all the evils, I started to see God everywhere. Sab Govinda, Sab Govinda. So I think that sacrificing was not just about that wartime kind of sacrifice, the battlegrounds, but Eso Tyagi Virla Koi. Guruji says these are the real true Tyagis, the renunciates or the people who, give up all these bad habits. And Har Har Naam Jape Jan Soe. And what do they do when they give up all these bad habits? It's they instead start chanting the name of God. And I think that one Shabad summarizes the entire teachings of what you have also shared in your lecture, that Ahang Buddha ka chodya sang. I, got rid of my ego and everything. Kam krodh ka utrya rang. And then all that lust, sexual desires and anger, they started to vanish. But I think it's all because of that secret Nam Te Aaye, Har Har Hare, because I started to meditate on the name of the Lord. Getting rid of all this Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hankar can be a challenge. And the other way was Sad Janaka Sang Nistare. I came into the company of holy people, like all these beautiful Zoom sessions, and I wish there were many more such gatherings of holy people, because the internet can be used for different attachments, or we can use the internet for good attachments to the good Sad Sangat. And towards the end of the Shabad, I think it says, Bari meet Hoye Saman. All my enemies, all my friends were suddenly good to me. And I saw them as one, because Sarva Mein Puran Bhagavan. I started to see no differences. I tyag, I let go, I sacrificed, I basically got rid of all that differences that I had, because Visar Gayi Sab Tat Prai Jabte Sad Sangat Moy Pai. And in the last 2 lines, Guruji says, Prabhu ki agya man sukh paya. I think I went against my manmat, my manmuk, being that my mind is smarter. I tyagged my manmuk. I sacrificed my ego, thinking that I am always right. And I started to follow the teachings of my Guruji. And that's how I found peace, because Guru Pure. Har naam dridaya. Guruji gave me that beautiful naam that was implanted. And the last part, I think, is a prayer we should all bow our heads and do together, because it says, Soi Pagat Jape Naam Jap. Let us become the devotees. Let us meditate, chant on the Naam, Man Pragas Gurte Matalai. Because as we start to jap the Naam, what's going to happen is Kar Kirpa Jis Rakhe Aap Soi Pagat Jape Naam Jap. Let's ask and pray that Kar Kirpa, oh Lord, please bless us, give us your mercy. May we chant your Naam. And in the last line, Guruji says, Man Pragas Gurte Matalai Kaho Nanak Taki Puri Pai. Guruji says, then we will be illumined, then we will be able to find liberation, salvation. If we sacrifice all the attachments to the world, then we will achieve Jivan Mukti, because through the understanding, we will be freed from the cycle of lives and death, the Chaurasi cycle. And I think then we can say, Bahut janam bichre the Madho. Oh Lord, I have been attached to the world and separated from you for so many lives. A janam tumhare lekhe. Because in the last line, Guruji says, Kahan Nanak taki puri pai. Then fulfillment, that perfection, that joy, that happiness will come when we sacrifice the love for the world and replace it with the love for Vaheguruji. Sorry for the mistakes, and I thank you for the beautiful opportunity to share. Vaheguruji ka Khalsa, Vaheguruji ki Fateh ji.
Thank you very much, Palji, for your very valuable contribution and making this lecture more helpful and more understandable for all of us. Yes, we must, as you mentioned, sharing Shabad. We need to start from the Ninda. We need to sacrifice a lot of things in our life, and we need to look at those things what we are doing on a daily basis. So really appreciate your contribution, Palji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Kichi. Anji, any other Sangat member who would like to share something, please don't be shy. Feel free to contribute, or if you have any questions, or if you have any personal experience or any challenge that you are having in your life about sacrificing, so we may discuss about that. Hanchi. Hanji Kuldeepji, would you like to share something?
Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. That was a very interesting lecture as you took us through a journey, starting from the personal self and then ending up with submitting your personal self. You know, from the little sacrifices to the ultimate sacrifice. And what Gurbani is actually teaching us. When you started off, you were talking about, you gave the definition of sacrifice, what is sacrifice, and it can be in the form of money, family, time, and all that kind of thing. I would look at those as duties, responsibilities, seva, as we journey through life. They are, can we call them sacrifices? Or yes, we are sacrificing for an ulterior motive. Maybe we are sacrificing maybe for the love of our parents, the attachment to our family. So there is a reason, there is a necessity to give up some things to achieve something. So that is like sort of carrying your responsibilities through life. Example that you gave, a very lovely example, excellent example of a parent bringing up a child from the time, let's say, a mother becomes pregnant to the time the child is delivered, to the time the child grows up. As long as the mother and child are living, the mother will be sacrificing for the child because of love, attachment, and many other reasons. Then, coming back to Gurbani, what does Gurbani tell us then? It is that ultimate supreme sacrifice. What is that actually? I think Gurbani is telling us how to sacrifice without ulterior motives, but to sacrifice, give up our vices, there's a lot of noise in the background. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So in the end, I think the teaching we get here from our Gurbani is, yes, we carry out our responsibilities, we carry out our duties, but the biggest thing, as you said, to sacrifice is the I, and the I, to sacrifice the I and the me, then we have to control our weaknesses, our kam, our krodh, our lobh, our moh, our hankar, our attachments, everything. Once we can give that up, that means we are giving up our ego, we are giving up me and my. And why are we giving that up? Because we have developed this supreme attachment, supreme love with the one creator. There is this oneness being created. And when you realize this oneness, then everything else becomes worthless and not important anymore. So like what I said, the two ways of looking at sacrifice. One is the social journey, the life journey we have. But ultimately, what is our target? What is our aim? What is Gurbani teaching us, coming back to Gurbani? It is giving up ourselves and attaching ourselves with Lord and doing everything for the sake of that love and that oneness we have in us. So that's how I'm looking at the lecture that you have given to us today. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And as we go along, yes, you quoted that many times. Tyagana, Tyagananika, ki Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Tyagana, Mangana, Mangananika, Har Jas, Gurte Mangana. So that should be our motive. That should be our ultimate aim. ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਜਸ ਮੰਗੀ ਜਾਈਏ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਟੈਚ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਅਲਟੀਮੇਟ ਮੋਟਿਵ ਇਹੋ ਹੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਾਣਾ ਮੰਨ ਲਈਏ ਤੇ ਪਾਣਾ ਮੰਨਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਈਏ ਤੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜ ਜਾਈਏ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Thank you very much for your contribution. Very beautifully, Kuldeep ji also mentioned there are two ways. We don't need to sacrifice our responsibilities. We need to perform our social or responsibilities related to family or all other things. So we do not need to sacrifice responsibilities, but while performing those activities, we need to sacrifice our ego, our calm, growth, and don't be the egoistic while performing our activities, our responsibilities. Responsibilities ਨਿਭਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੀਏ, ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲੇ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਤੀਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਕੁਲਦੀਪ ਕੌਰ ਜੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, any other single member who wants to add something or wants to share some views or different aspects if you have? Okay, so request you all one more announcement before we end up. Like we have every Saturday morning we have in-person class as well, where we are discussing about Baramaha, and every week we discuss Guru Nanak Sahib Ji and Guru Arjan Sahib Ji's Baramaha. So one by one we all are discussing. In every lecture we're discussing 1 month. So I would like to request you, last time we discussed Oda Mahina. On this week we will discuss about Magda Mahina. So those who are from Singapore, so like to request you, so Saturday morning 11 AM at Center Sikh Gurdwara Sahib, so you may join us for in-person lectures as well. And moreover we have one conversational Punjabi as well every Sunday morning 10:30, where we practice speaking in Punjabi about daily sentences or the topic we discuss, and also we discuss about from the Gurbani point of view as well. ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਡੇਲੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਵਰੀ ਸੰਡੇ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ 10:30 ਐਟ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਲੋਕਲ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ you know someone who wants to practice in Punjabi speaking, So you may inform them as well. So thank you very much once again for your precious time. Now I would like to request you all kindly unmute yourself so that we all can say Gurfateh together. ਆਪਾਂ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਓ, ਸਾਂਝੇ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੁਰਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ ਜੀ। ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੈਕਰੀਫਾਈਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੈਕਰੀਫਾਈਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਚੁਣਿਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੁਣਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣ ਜੀ। ਆਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਸਮ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਦੀ ਬਖਸ਼ੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ, ਸਾਰੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਆਖਣਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
Master Ji and Sangat.
Thank you so much, Master Ji.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।